want to see how we can identify generative AI opportunities. Of course, we have heard the shifts, how we moved from POCing or discovering generative AI opportunities to then bringing business value. So how then do you know that this is a generative AI opportunity? Because you can't make any money if it's not an actual generative AI opportunity, or if you can't even identify that is a generative AI opportunity. So I just want to do a quick survey in the room. It's okay if you don't know the answer, right? Has any partner here worked with anybody that has done anything AI or machine learning? Show of hands. Interesting. Okay. Let me not go for that. Generative AI is really new, right? Okay, so we want to see how we can identify generative AI opportunity. So we have come up with this framework that we use to assess an opportunity to know that it is a good fit for generative AI. And because I'm really excited, we want to share it with you. Right? So let's see. So this is the framework we use internally to determine if this opportunity is a generative AI opportunity. Right? We have seen solutions in the past from building regular software that are rule-based. I'll give you an example. If you go to the bank and you want to withdraw money, right? And you say, I'm withdrawing X amount of Naira, right? The first thing it does is to check your account balance and tell you whether you can withdraw the money or not, right? That case doesn't need AI because it's a simple rule. If your account balance is less than, if the amount you are withdrawing is greater than the account balance, then we deny the transaction. It's not an AI case, right? There are also cases where it's purely machine learning and AI. Example, most of our phones uses facial recognition today, right? It is an AI case, right? Which is also a great fit. So what then is generative AI? In fact, generative AI is that part of AI that is creative. From the name itself, it generates something. So you could have something that generates your mail, or a quick survey again, who has used ChatGPT here? Okay, I didn't see please let's see the hands. Yeah, this is the first step to AI adoption. If you say you can use ChatGPT, then that's fine. The first thing we check is S. Oh, we gave the framework a very cute name, scale, because it helps us scale generative AI. So the first thing you're identifying is whether it is structured and a repetitive task, right? So this is the bane of automation, right? Humans don't want to do something that is repetitive, right? We have solved these problems in the past where it is structured and repetitive with pure rule-based automation in the past, right? But generative AI adds another layer. In the past, we could not automate anything that needed a little intuition, something that requires intelligence. We could not automate it. Something that is simple, that the rules can be easily defined, we could do it in the past. But now with generative AI and what we call large language models, right? It can understand the tasks, understand what you need to do, and then carry out the tasks. I'll give you, and we'll see an example later, right? The second use case is anything that requires creativity. So who agrees with me that to generate a mail or to generate a part of text, it requires creativity? Definitely, right? Typical AI can't do that. It only predicts. Rule-based systems can only try to generate. But to truly generate something that is new, it requires creativity. So that is a generative AI use case. Example, if your customer comes to you and says, I need a system that gets a request from my customers or monitors my customer's environment, understands what's going on, and generates a report that reflects what is there. It is really difficult to automate that without generative AI. So yes. The next in line is A, access to information. Right. So we're in the era of chatbots. So I'll give you a good use case for this. So a digital bank came to us and said, we have a chatbot before. We have a chatbot. It works. It does the job. If customer wants to get information, right, it sends a request to us. We take the request in the app and we send it to our agent that sits somewhere waiting 24/7. Right? We have 5 agents. And these 5 agents, we can pass the request to any of them. That agent understands the problem and then goes ahead to give the customer the information after 5 hours, right? Because, of course, they are humans and there are thousands of customers, right? Generative AI can solve this problem in a split second, right? So when you need to access information that is somewhere, maybe sitting in a document, generative AI systems can go into that document, intelligently find what the answer is, and respond to the customer in a second. There are many use cases like that. I know you are thinking, I know this customer that would need this. Yes, that is a good use case for generative AI. Then next, labor-intensive processes. That's L, right? So like I said, humans don't want to do anything that is repetitive, that is very strenuous, right? I will give you an example for this. So we worked with a tier 1 bank in Nigeria last year, and we solved a very unique problem for them. Maybe my CEO will be able to explain this domain really well, because that's where he has a lot of strength, right? But let me try to explain it, right? There are messages that come in, Swift messages, and they pass some form of instruction. That's how best I know it, right? And the problem is you have staff who sit, read these messages, understand what is needed to be done, and go ahead to execute these tasks, right? So which means that you need like 5 staffs getting messages from many places, and they come in hundreds. You need 5, 10, 15 people as long as you want to make the task really, really fast, right? But the task is I understand the message and I know what to do with the message. Now with generative AI, it can really read that message, of course, securely within the customer's environment, understand what it's supposed to do, and go ahead to place it on a queue for execution. As simple as that. So if you notice, it is a system AI that is truly intuitive. It is creative. It knows what to do, right? So that's the part we have not cracked in the past, before 2023. We had AI that could predict, but it was not intuitive. It could not understand just any context. But now it can understand any context at all, right? And that will lead to my next point. If you have a system that, wanted to do this before, but I think for us to solve this problem, we need an expert on this case, right? Before in the past, with rule-based automation, you need that expert to sit with you and tell you, write the rule this way for it to work, right? With generative AI and large language models now, it has learned everything we have put on the internet, or every body of work that we have. Your ChatGPT is doing things that your doctor could do, right? Your ChatGPT is doing things that engineers would want to do. So now if you need something that would solve and expertise, something that an expert would do, then this is the case for generative AI. A good example is a health tech company we worked with last year also. And what did they want to do? They need a system that understands the patient's symptoms and is able to pull all of those data together, all those history together, and give proper recommendation. With the brick and mortar system, you need a doctor, and the customer or the patient will have to wait in line to meet that doctor. But now, AI can just pull all of this information, go ahead to understand what the patient's problem is, and recommend. Right? So, stuff like that. So, if you see this is a very good way, or it is a very good framework to identify generative AI opportunities. But we would not stop here, because we know that there are some common examples that you will see, especially in a place like Africa, right? Fintechs are really big. There are common things that are peculiar to many customers here. So we'll look at a few of those use cases, and I'll call my colleague Daniel to take us through few use cases that you'll probably see when you're working with customers. Thank you.